In September 2020, Haven and I bought an amazing piece of land of 9 acres in Topanga. It is definitely our dream come true, with woodlands, an amazing hill that feels like the sound of music, and a great field and some other hills for hopefully a future house and definitely a farm. And one of our first thoughts as landowners, we were thinking, do we build a fence? Is that what you're supposed to do as a step one? And we kind of laughed. It was such an easy decision. We don't want to build a fence. This is a place we want to create for people to come in, and not a fence to keep people out. And so we started very soon after inviting people to our land, inviting preschools and camps so they can be a part and take part in this amazing piece of land that we have. And in talking to people and growing our idea of starting this permaculture farm, we are completely confident that this is going to be something that is much better than we could do on our own, and definitely a part of the nonprofit that we are starting of 5Journeys. And we have 3 daughters, and one of our instincts at first was, inviting people, and we want to make sure that our kids are protected, but we really want them to be a part of a community where there are healthy foods and farmers and yoga instruction and groups of kids coming and great humans to be around. So that's part of our dream.
Yeah. And the 5Journeys nonprofit that we're building, and 5Journeys is a spiritual and activist movement to create a better life and a better world. And we're building the program and the book to support people who are going on that journey, to support them together. But this is part of that. Journey 5 is about community and belonging. And there is no better expression of that than to invite people into our land and say, look, this land is your land. That sounds like a song. This land is your land. And so once we started inviting people and hearing their vision, it became pretty clear that people wanted to be part of a co-op farm, not just have their little tiny plots, which was one idea, but actually to be able to build something together. And it fits in so perfectly with journey number 5 of our 5 journeys. And there's more on the 5 Journeys website about the other 4 journeys if you want to learn about that. But ultimately, we've decided to spend some time to build a structure to help facilitate the vision of the community. And so that is what we're doing with this video right now, is we're introducing 3 different levels of involvement in this co-op farm. The first level is the soil keepers. It'll be me and 6 other leaders in the community who have expertise in soil regeneration, permaculture, and bringing resources and assets together to help create this farm. And we envision about 2 acres at least to begin with for the farm. And as with any co-op, the people who are volunteering are the actual owners. And so we've created a system that will help keep track of the time you put in. And you'll get your share of the harvest and possibly even profits based on the volunteer hours that you're putting in. And so soil keepers obviously are going to be a major mover and shaker in this farm. And then we have the farming volunteers, or otherwise known as farmers. And those are just people who don't have the expertise but want to get their hands dirty, like literally dirty. And so that's kind of second level. They will also have access to the harvest based on their hours. And then there's friends of the farm. And friends of the farm are community groups, schools, enrichment programs, people who are putting other groups of people together to come onto the farm to learn, to work, to volunteer. And those groups will also be owners of this farm. So it is basically open to everybody, and your share, what we call yields, is based on the amount of time you want to put into it. to make things as fair as possible for people and incentivize the hard work that will be necessary to get this off the ground. Ultimately, the soil keepers, they'll be responsible for the design of the farm. Where are we going to put the guilds, or the tree guilds? Where are we going to put the swales, or should the swales go? Where are we going to have the natural ponds? Where are we going to use hugelkultur and various things like that we want to have a integrated design. Where are we going to have the animals? Which animals are we going to have? Can we have elephants? A big question. We need the soil keepers to decide that, because my daughters definitely want elephants. So ultimately, the soil keepers will be the decision makers. They're the board of directors, if you will, the leadership of the farm. And all of the farmers themselves will be in teams. So when you join, you don't just join as an isolated individual. You are immediately put into a team of your own choice. And the teams will have different things that they do, from building structures that the farm will need, to planting, to harvesting, to pulling up the noxious weeds, to figuring out water issues. There's so many different teams that we can have that a soil keeper will help lead or co-lead. All of our teams are co-led, and under 5Journeys, we have a mother for every team and a non-mother for every team, which we go into in some of the bylaws of the farm. So at any rate, we are really excited to invite you to consider being a soil keeper or a farmer, or if you have access to a group or a part of you're a leader of a group, then maybe a friend of the farm. But the soil keepers is where everything starts, and that is kind of where we're going to lead to next. And ultimately, your vision will help decide the future of the farm. And do you want to share our vision right now?
Yeah.
As that we will introduce to the soil keepers, and that will be modified by the soil keepers.
That's right. Well, Haven and I envision having a farm where we are regenerating the soil and giving back to the earth and really taking care of our family and our community, creating and growing just the most nutritious food that we can possibly grow, and really building our community on this project, and bringing in just the amazing expertise and the energy. And we just can't wait to be working more closely with some of the people we've already met, and to meet even more people. We want to create a place where people can grow and flourish and have a chance to lead and bring in their new ideas, and have workshops and instruction, and bring in school groups, and have kids playing together, just to really create a center of our community to share and to build on, that can take care of ourselves and the earth.
Yeah. So thanks. Underneath this video, if you're on our website, there will be instructions on how to apply for a position, what our next steps are, when our next meetings are. The only thing I would add to that vision is we are also extremely mindful of the fire hazard in the Santa Monica Mountains. And one of the fourth project we did, or maybe the fifth, and this is the sixth project then, is a 4-day training on fire prevention, where we brought in some of the absolute best techniques to prevent fire on a large scale, catastrophic scale that we are all facing. And we're going to bring some of those techniques into the farm to reverse some of the problems that we are creating at the local level that will increase the chances of Topanga, Malibu, Calabasas being wiped out, Pacific Palisades with a fire. And so there's a lot of things we can do on this farm. We can't wait to see the vision of the soil keepers and what they add to what we've already said, and how they will help bring that alive. So, all right, let's get digging.
Thanks.